Hello, this is Music Tech Help Guy, and welcome to part 1 of my Melodyne editor series. This is a new series I'm going to be doing. It's going to be a very short series, maybe 4 or 5 or 6 parts, going over all the features of the Melodyne plugin from Melodyne, which is essentially a vocal and instrument tuning plugin that allows you to correct pitch. It allows you to correct inconsistencies in the pitch of a performer, but also it allows you to correct timing inconsistencies as well, all within one plugin. So it's a really, really useful vocal production tool. In this video, I'm going to basically just show you the basics of how to use it, how to input signal into it, how to do some basic vocal tuning, quantize the pitch, and then be done with it. And in future videos, we'll move on to some of the more advanced features. I'm using Logic 10 as my DAW of choice for this, but Melodyne works in Pro Tools, it works in other DAWs as well, because when you buy it, it comes with the AU, comes with the VST, comes with the AAX format plugin, so you can use it in virtually any DAW of your choice. Okay, so let me show you what I've got here. I've got just a single female vocal, a few softer instruments down here. Let me just play what this sounds like.
In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy, you gotta take what you can get, and gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself searching in the dark.
All right, I pulled the instruments down quite a bit just because I want to hear the vocals better. The only effects that I have on the vocals right now is just the stock Logic channel EQ with a little 2K bump and a high frequency sort of sibilance boost, and then a cut in the low end. And then I'm using the Waves LA3A plugin just to compress the signal. What I always do when I use Melodyne as a plugin is I make sure to leave a blank insert slot at the top, because I always want Melodyne to go first in the signal chain for processing. I want to tune the vocals first, then process it with EQ and compression and whatever else I'm putting on there. By the way, Melodyne will run as a standalone. You can actually just open it up as its own program. I actually prefer using it as a plugin and then sort of rendering my work in place. All right, so let's tune these vocals. I'm going to throw Melodyne on here on my insert. In Logic, you go down to the audio units, you go to Melodyne, and you go to Melodyne. It's a mono track, so we're going to choose mono. It'll load Melodyne. It's the Melodyne editor. By the way, there is like a studio version, there's like an essential version, there's like a light version. I can't remember what it's called. There's some cheaper versions. I find that the Melodyne editor is the best bang for your buck. I think the price has gone up. When I bought it, it was about $300. I think it's about $400 US now. But it really has all the tools that you need. The lighter version has just basically the basic pitch correction tools, but no way to control like formants or really no way to take the vibrato out of the voice. So there's a lot of advantages to getting the editor version. The studio version, I don't really feel like I need it all, because it's like a multi-track thing, and I've tried the demo, but I really haven't found a use for it. So I like the editor version. All right, so the way Melodyne works as a plugin is you have to transfer the material from your track into the Melodyne plugin. So after you add the Melodyne plugin, you just put the playhead somewhere before the vocals, hit the transfer button, and then just hit play.
In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy, you gotta take what you can get, and gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself searching in the dark.
Now, one of the tricky things about Melodyne that you have to be very, very careful of is that when you transfer this clip into Melodyne, if you change something out here, like if I delete this, Melodyne's still going to play what you transferred into the plugin.
Find yourself searching in the dark.
So if I decided to drop in like a new take for this last phrase here, it's not going to automatically show up in Melodyne. You're going to have to delete what's in here and then re-transfer it into the plugin. The other reason why I put the plugins, the processing plugins after Melodyne, is that Melodyne will pick up the sound of the EQ and the compression in the plugin if I put Melodyne second or third here. So I want Melodyne to just pick up the raw vocals and nothing else. All right, so let's start tuning this now. Just some navigational things. There's a little bar down here that you can navigate. To zoom, you grab the left and right side, you pull it in, pull it out. For vertical zoom, same thing over on the right side. You can go up, you can go down. You can grab the sides to vertically zoom in and out. You can also increase the waveform size right here. I like to make them as big as possible. And then one thing you'll notice is on the screen, basically there's these gray lines and white lines. And basically what Melodyne does is it breaks up your recording sort of like a piano roll editor would. And that's really what this is. It is piano roll. You can see it's C sharp, D flat, D, E flat, E, F. So all the white lanes or the white lines are white keys on the piano, and all the gray lines are or not gray notes, black notes on the piano. So it shows you that, hey, this note right here is on A, or A flat. And if you click on it, it'll actually play that note, but it's a little bit sharp. It's a little bit sharp above A flat, and this note up here is on C, but it's a little bit sharp on C. So and also the other thing it shows you is not just the location of the note, but also this line shows you the pitch drift of that note. So if the person has a lot of vibrato, you'll see things like this. If they have a little bit of vibrato, you'll see something more like a straight line. And with Melodyne, we can actually control that vibrato as well. Now, another navigational thing is that when you press play, like the spacebar button,
in this world of ruin,
it's going to play your entire session in the background plus the vocals. If you just want to hear the vocals in Melodyne, you double click wherever you want to start on the playhead or the ruler up here.
in this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy.
So let's try tuning up these vocals. Now, one of the things that I always catch flack for whenever I talk about this on my channel is having a basic understanding of music concepts and music theory. If you don't know what a D is on a keyboard, if you don't know what an F sharp is on a keyboard, you are going to be absolutely lost. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. There's no way I can teach you how to work with musical material like this if you don't know what the keys are on the keyboard. It also helps if you know exactly what key the song is in, so you can tune the vocals to that key. Because sometimes Melodyne, just like with quantizing notes, or kind of like what I showed you guys in the Logic series where you can quantize the pitch of MIDI notes, the notes don't always go in the right direction. The more accurate the singer is, the easier the time you're going to have with that. The less accurate the singer is, and the more pitch drift they naturally have in their voice, the more difficulty you're going to have determining where a note is supposed to go. But if you have a basic understanding of music theory, it makes it a little bit easier because you can sort of, you pretty much already know what notes you can use. So what I always do is I determine what the key of the song is, either by looking at the chord progression, asking the musicians, or having Melodyne analyze it for you, which Melodyne is not exactly super accurate in terms of analyzing the key. So I'm not going to do that in this video because it's a bit more advanced. But for now, what I'll show you is that the very first chord of the song is D, D, F, A, which is a D minor chord. The last chord of each phrase is also D minor. I just happen to know offhand that this song is in the key of D minor. So it really helps to understand what are the notes that are in D minor so that we can tune our vocal melody to D minor. Now, a D minor scale is D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. So those are basically the notes that we can use to tune her vocal melody to. But it doesn't mean we can't use notes in between. Sometimes those notes in between will be used as like a little gliss up to a note, or maybe like just an added tone, or maybe it's some sort of alteration of the minor scale, like a harmonic minor scale or a melodic minor scale. If you don't have enough basic music theory knowledge to sit down and figure out and plunk out a D minor scale, or just do a little bit of research and understand what the notes you can use are in a D minor scale, Google is helpful for that, because all you have to do is search up what is a D minor scale, and then Google will tell you what the notes in a D minor scale are. There's other tools like the Circle of Fifths, other charts that you could probably download for free on Google as well that could tell you that as well. But I don't want to get into all that. Let's focus on the vocal tuning. So let's listen to this just with her by herself.
In this world of ruin.
I like to work phrase by phrase. I don't like to tune the whole thing, because I find myself just getting into trouble that way. So the first thing I do is I go phrase by phrase.
In this world of ruin.
Drag over those notes. I tend to ignore these little areas of like floor noise out here where there's really nothing that's there. I try to avoid those that's why I don't, one of the other reasons I don't select everything. I just select the meaningful notes here. And I go up to correct pitch, click on that. And there's two options here: correct pitch center and correct pitch drift. Pitch center basically moves the notes to the closest target, whatever it thinks the intended target is. Pitch drift takes all of this pitch wiggle and centers it on the note. So you can see before she's sort of like drifting up a little bit, but here her vibrato is sort of staying center. Now the pitch drift is not the same as removing the vibrato completely to get sort of that auto-tune sound. That's something else completely that I'll show you in just a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the pitch drift, or the pitch center, all the way up, and Melodyne will do its best job to guess what the key you're in. It did a good job this time. So the cool thing about this is when you click snap to D minor, any notes that are outside the key of D minor will automatically be snapped to the closest key, note in D minor. So the note A flat, this black line or this gray line right here, doesn't exist in D minor. It's A, not A flat. So we'll hit OK, and let's listen to that.
This world of ruin. In this world of ruin.
And I apologize if it sounds like there's a little bit of like a lag where the high note is up here. It's just because my buffer size is really high, so I'm getting a little bit of lag.
In this world of ruin. In this world of tragedy.
So do the same thing here. Drag over these meaningful notes. Go to correct pitch. Pull up the pitch center. Snap to D minor. Let's listen to it.
In this world of tragedy. Tragedy.
Now see how that note almost sounds wrong? Like it's right. It's there. It's just the way she kind of almost like bluesy sang it last time sounded better.
Tragedy.
The tragedy, it's too perfect sounding. I want to alter these notes to put them on a note that's outside of the key of the song, not A, maybe A flat. Let's just drag over both of them, just click and drag down, and it'll automatically snap to the next note.
World of tragedy.
Now it's too flat. I don't want it that flat. Let's try making these notes intentionally out of tune to give it sort of like a bluesy feeling. If you drag over the notes and then hold Option while you drag them down, you can adjust sort of like the fine tuning.
World of tragedy.
And actually, I'm just hitting Command Z to undo. I think just this one really needs to come out, and this one can stay there.
World of tragedy.
Yeah, let's pull it up a little bit.
World of tragedy.
Yeah, that sounds better to me. It sounded too robotic with her all the way up on A there.
You gotta take what you can get.
Pull over this. Correct pitch. Pull this up. Snap to D minor.
You gotta take what you...
Now this note right here, she's going, you gotta, like she's going from a low note to a high note. I want it to be, you gotta, all one note.
You gotta take what you can get.
Next section.
You gotta give what you can live with.
Sometimes like little notes like this, I just ignore them because trying to tune them actually does more harm than good. Let's do that. Snap to D minor.
You gotta give what you can live with.
Yeah, that's fine.
You can live with. There's no point in living life in the past.
Let's do that. Pull that up. Snap to D minor.
There's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself.
Like that note right there. Find yourself very, very flat.
You'll only find yourself searching in the...
Oh, and this one too. Really, really, really flat. Let's pull over all this. Correct pitch. Pull the pitch center up. Snap to D minor.
You'll only find yourself searching in the dark.
Now, this is like a situation where I want to maybe play with that pitch center tool because she sort of starts low, gets sharp, and then her wiggle goes down again. I want to center her pitch drift on that note a little bit better. So I just click on that one note and pull the correct pitch drift option all the way up.
Dark.
There we go. So let's listen to this whole thing before and after with the music now. So here's the before. Or here's the after, actually. Here's the after.
In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy, you gotta take what you can get. You gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself searching in the dark.
And here's the before.
In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy, you gotta take what you can get. You gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself searching in the dark.
So, I mean, it's a very subtle difference because her performance is actually a pretty decent performance. There's just a lot of notes that are just slightly flat, you know, and it just, doing this brightens the whole thing up and makes her vocals fit in better with the chords and fit in better with the tonality of the song. Now, if you're looking for that auto-tune sound, one thing you can do is you can take out some of the pitch drift in the notes, the vibrato in the notes. But before we do that, there's a couple little things I want to show you. Right here, see how this note starts on G? The line dips down to like F-ish, and then down to D.
Ruin, ruin.
So she's really singing A, G, F, D, da. But Melodyne basically didn't realize that there's supposed to be an F in here. One thing you can do is you can force Melodyne to separate a note into two separate notes. If you hover over just the top part of a waveform and double click, it'll separate that into two different notes. So now I can drag over those two notes again, correct their pitch, and snap them to D minor.
Ruin.
And really this note needs to be up on F.
Ruin. Ruin.
Now the cool thing about Melodyne, one of the things about doing this is like you can drag a note wherever you want it to go.
Ruin.
Is it going to sound good? Not necessarily. Let's go through. I think there was one more that was kind of like that. Let's see. Was it right here?
Can live with
No. Oh, it's right here.
the past.
Yeah, it's another one of these ones where the note sort of drifts down. So we'll hover over the top part of it, double click, put these in place.
The past.
And there we go. All right, so let me show you how to make the auto-tune sound. If you hit Command A, you can select everything. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to click on this tool right here. I'm going to click and hold, though, and I'm going to choose the second one down, not the pitch, the top one up, rather, the first one. Not the pitch drift tool, the pitch modulation tool. Now, the pitch modulation tool, what this does is it allows you to take the vibrato in your notes and tame it down quite a bit. So you can see there's a lot of wiggle in all of our notes. If I click on one of these notes, now I have everything selected, so everything's going to be affected, but if I click and pull down, you can see that vibrato starts to go away.
In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy, you gotta take what you can get, you gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself searching in the dark.
Now the reason why I added all these extra notes, those 2 extra notes in there, is just for this reason.
The past.
Otherwise, it just sound like 2 notes instead of 3 notes. Now, I'm not a big fan of the robot voice. I would rather sort of use the modulation tool in just certain spots.
In this world of ruin,
and just sort of tame down the vibrato on certain notes.
In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy.
So I just use it. I just use it a little bit.
In this world of tragedy, you gotta take.
Like there's a lot of wiggle here.
You gotta take what you can get.
Oops.
You gotta take what you can get. You gotta give what you can give. With. Gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in There's no point in living life in the past. In the past, you'll only find yourself. You'll only find yourself. You find yourself searching in the dark. Searching in the dark.
And again, this problem here we had before with this one just having too much wiggle in it.
Dark.
There we go. Maybe not that much. Now, if you pull up, by the way, when you use this, it does the opposite. It actually increases the amount of vibrato.
Dark.
We don't want that. But if you want to look and see what percentage of vibrato you have in that selected note, you can look right here. I have a positive 512, which is not what I want. By the way, if you double click, you can set it back to the default, which was 100%. So let's pull this down to like 70%.
Dark.
There you go. All right, let's listen to this now with our pitch modulation in there.
In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy, you gotta take what you can get, you gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself searching in the dark. In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy, you gotta take what you can get, you gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself searching in the dark. In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy, you gotta take what you can get, you gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself searching in the dark.
So there you go. just the tuning, a little bit of reverb and delay, pull the instruments back up, sounds nice. Now, one thing I always do with Melodyne is I don't really trust the Melodyne plugin, because I've had some issues in the past where, you know, I open up a session that's a year old or a couple years old, and all my Melodyne transfers and tuning is all gone. So usually what I do is, after I'm satisfied with what I did with Melodyne, I will render that as a new file. Sometimes I choose to include my plugins. Sometimes I choose not to. But generally what I'll do is I'll just basically turn off everything that isn't Melodyne, set the pan to center, and then set the gain to unity, just option click, and then I'll just click on the clip and then hit Control B, and then I'll just, this basically bounces the region in place. I say okay. It does bounce it to stereo, but it does bounce a tuned copy of what we have up here. So now what I can do is drag my plugins over that I want to use. I can disable Melodyne, turn my buses back on for reverb and delay. I can mute and hide my original with Melodyne on it, and now I have a tuned copy that I don't have to rely on Melodyne for.
In this world of ruin, in this world of tragedy, you gotta take what you can get, you gotta give what you can live with. And there's no point in living life in the past. You'll only find yourself searching in the dark.
And there you go. All right, so that's just the basics of just transferring in audio, tuning it. There's a lot of advanced features in Melodyne that I'll go over in the next few videos. I apologize that this video is longer than it's way longer than I expected it to be, but there's a lot to this, and there's a lot to be said about Melodyne, and there's a lot of, like I said, music theory involved, and just understanding basic concepts of notes and chords and keys and scales and all that stuff. So it's, you know, I have to explain it. I can't sit here and act like it's not, you know, important to talk about, because it is important to talk about. If you don't have that basic knowledge, it's going to be more difficult for you to use Melodyne. It'd be better off for you to just pay someone to do it for you. So, all right. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.